Today we're going to be studying mathematics.
And emerges from the second mirror.
These words sound
Be your teacher for today.
Hello student, you are welcome to another beautiful day in the MSI EduTech online lesson. Now today we are going to look at motion, and we are looking at motion can be in various forms. We have a uniform motion, we have upward and downward motion, we have circular motion, we have different kind of motion. But the one we are concentrating at now is motion on a straight line. Motion on a straight line. That is a car leaving Abuja to Lagos. A car leaving Lagos to London. Or a vehicle, a plane from Lagos to Nigeria. So, such is a uniform motion. Motion in a straight line. Now, we are going to consider briefly different types of motion. We have number one, oscillatory motion. We have random motion. We have linear motion, and we have rotational motion. In the first one, linear motion is a motion that involves a body leaving one point to the other, or motion in a straight line from one point to another. A car journey from a particular town to the other town. Such a car is embarking on a linear motion. Now, the second motion is rotational motion. Rotational means that the body is rotating about its axis. The body is rotating about its axis in a circular form. Rotational motion. An example of such motion is the earth when it is rotating about its axis. That is a rotational motion. Now, the oscillatory motion is to and fro motion. To and fro motion, that is oscillatory motion, moving from one direction to the other, to and fro, e.g. like a blade of a standing, the head of a standing fan rotating from left, like a simple pendulum. A simple pendulum is an example of oscillatory motion, which is also known as vibratory motion. Oscillatory motion is also known as vibratory motion. The other one is random motion. It's a zigzag motion, has no pattern, no direction, like the smoke of an exhaust car coming out from the back of an exhaust car. That smoke moves in the air in a zigzag manner, no specific direction. That's an example of a or random motion. Now, as we consider these types of motion, we want to point our attention to the following things, just like a quiz in the class. Now, look at a market woman journey from one point to the other. A market woman journey from one point to the other. What type of motion is that woman describing? A woman that is journeying, a market woman from one point to the other. That type of motion is not linear motion. Is a zigzag motion, random motion. Now, that's an example of random motion. But as we look at the motion, if we consider the motion of a bee, the motion of a bee is also a random motion, a zigzag motion. The motion of a fly at home is a zigzag motion. How about the motion of a rolling drum? A rolling drum. So at this junction, I will not you to pay a rapt attention, because a rolling drum, a particular object, can describe more than one type of motion. If you see a rolling drum, you will discover that the inside of the rolling drum is translating on a linear motion, while the circumference of the rolling drum is performing rotational motion. So in the case of a drum now, you can see it to be similar to a tire of a vehicle or to a coin. So those two things or three things describe rotational motion, because the whole tire is turning and the whole drum is turning. If you look at the center of the tire, will always be on a straight line. So these are the motion that can perform linear and rotational motion together. How about the disc of a plate, the disc plate, or a vibrating machine is performing vibrational motion. The disc plate is performing rotational motion. The inside of the disc plate is a linear motion. So the vibrational motion of a disc is oscillatory motion. Like I've told you, vibrational and oscillatory motion, they can be interchangeably used for one another. So as we now finish the introduction of a different type of motion, we can now play around the equation of a motion. That will actually take you to how to determine a particular quantity or parameter in the equation. For example, we have the three linear equations. We have V equal to U plus AT. That's the first equation of the motion. We have V equal to U T plus half AT square. That's the second equation. We have V square into U square plus 2AS. These are the three linear equations for uniform accelerated motion. You must know what they stand for. V stands for the final velocity, U stands for the initial velocity, the letter A there is the acceleration, while T there is the time. The V in the equation, the parameter, V also here stands for the final velocity, U stands for the initial velocity, T for the time, the A is the acceleration, the T is the time. So we have the V equal to V square equal to U square plus 2AS. S here stands for the distance, while A is the acceleration, the 2 there is a constant, U is the initial velocity, and V the final velocity. Then how then do we make use of this to solve our problem when we are given problem? The first thing you need to do is that when you see problem, you need to identify each of the value or the parameter you are given and assign it and look for and get the what you are looking for, the unknown. Then you'll be able to select the best formula you have to use. The first thing is that list the parameter, the quantity that is known, and list the quantity that is unknown. So when you list this, then from there select the best formula that will give you the best answer. We are going to consider some illustration to describe how to use the three equations of motion. If you look at the different type of motion, we have one linear motion, oscillatory motion, rotational motion, random motion. To understand it better, we can actually look at these various illustrations. Classify the following under the different types of motion. The motion of a market woman. Somebody is buying something in the market is random motion. The motion of a rolling drum. That one will describe two types of motion, linear and rotational motion, which I've explained to you. The motion of a coin, a rolling coin, it will describe rotational and linear motion. The motion of a car from one point to the other will give us is example of linear motion. The motion of a bee is a random motion. So you can discover more yourself, but don't get distracted and be like somebody who will say a body can only describe one type of motion. No, you can have a body that can describe up to 2 or 3 types of motion together. So you have to look at it holistically, the whole body, the whole system, before you can actually pick the type of motion a particular object describe. So as we go into the use of the uniform equation of motion, we have written 3 types for you. The first one, V equal to U plus AT, have it already displayed. The second one, V equal to UT plus half AT square. The third one, v square equal to u square plus 2ax. For example, you are given a problem like this to solve. All you need to do in physics is to list out what you know first, then after that what you don't know, and the third step, how you get what you don't know. As we look at this, and that's the step I'm going to follow, I'm going to list number one, what I know. What I know is what I am given. The first one, a car starts from rest and accelerates uniformly at the rate of this. So this with the concept of the first topic, which is dimension. Dimension, the unit here is meter per second. This one tells us that A is acceleration. Meter per second tells us that it's acceleration. So we have 5.0 meter per second square. That is acceleration we are given. Now, since it's starting from rest, I need to point our attention to that. If a car or a body starts from rest, then the velocity, initial velocity is 0. Take note of that. When a body is parked in a particular point, take for example a car, and you want to move the car from that point, you have to know that initial velocity, with which velocity the car will pick up from, will be 0. And note also again that when the car is coming back to rest, the final velocity will be 0. Look at it, it's starting with 0 and it's finishing with 0. So in that case now, the final velocity will be 0 because it's coming to an end. And when a car accelerates, it means that it is increasing. A will be positive. And when a car is decelerating, it means that it's reducing. Decelerating, A will be negative. So put all those things into consideration and apply it to this problem now. Now in this matter now, we say that our u now will become 0 meter per second because it's picking from the rest. It's starting from the rest now. Now we have the distance moving through a distance of 100 meters. So we have x equal to 100 meters. So although you are not given this, you have to pay attention. You are not given this, but in all the question, any moment you say here that it starts from 0, so you have to know that. So keep to that. Then you look at it, say, what are we looking for? Calculate the magnitude of his velocity. The magnitude of his velocity. That's the velocity with which the car will move on. So what we know are listed on the board, and what we don't know is the velocity. Then the next step now, how to know it. How to know it now. So the next step now, you now select any of this equation. If you look at this equation, you ask yourself, that the first equation that will be suggested to your mind. Then if I look at this, can I use this to solve this problem? If you look at this one now, we are looking for this, we know this, but there's no this. That makes it so difficult. And there's no how you can have two unknown and you want to have solution to that equation. It will be quite impossible. So there are two unknown. So in this case now, this formula will not be applicable for us to use. Why? Because this is what we are looking for. Actually, it contains what we are looking for. But there is one obstacle, which is the time. We are not given the time. Then the second equation, which is v equal to ut plus half 8t squared. The same time appear in this equation, which was our initial hindrance that made us not to use this formula. So the same time, it says, so also this formula will still not be useful for us. Now the next formula now, which is the last formula, v, the last formula is x. We have x equal to ut plus half, sorry, we have 2ax. So if you look at this question now, if you look at this question now, this is what we are looking for. We have this, we know this, and we know this. You can now see this equation now will be the best equation for us to use for this particular problem. So each particular problem takes its own formula. It will dictate to you the formula to use as we list them up. So what we don't know now, so just make use of this formula now. So our v square now is equal to u square. Our u is 0 plus 2 dot a, our a is 5 dot x, our s is 100. So we have v square equal to this dot d, we have 10 times 100, so we have what? 10,000. So find the square root of this, eliminate the square, is applying root to both sides to eliminate this square. So this one will make use of cancel this. Do the same thing to the right. We have this. So if we do that, v will be equal to what? So we leave the answer like that. So meter per second square. So that is what is interesting in this case, and that's how to apply this equation of motion. So we are going to give you a little exercise after the end of the lesson, which you can actually play around and play to make you to understand it better. For more understanding, I will go to the next example, which will not actually make use of this to test how to use any other of the equation again. Illustration 2 goes in this direction. A car takes off from rest and cover a distance of 80 meters on a straight road in 10 seconds. Calculate the magnitude of its acceleration. Most of the time when we use calculate the magnitude, that word magnitude make some students to get confused. But the better way to do it is that when you find out, when you have come across a problem like this, all you need to do is that just center on what you are looking for. All other additional information is not necessarily for you. Now this calculate the magnitude of acceleration, I can as well say calculate the acceleration without putting the magnitude. So the magnitude there does not actually affect or make you to get confused when you see this type of question. So you have to put your mind to what you are looking for. So what you now get is your magnitude of the acceleration. So we are going to start in the same way that we did the first one. We are going to get and bring out what you know first, and also bring out what you are looking for and how to get what you are looking for. The first one, get what you have, know what you are given, and know what you are looking for and how to get what you are looking for. So the solution of this one will go in this way. We are given a car start from rest, that is u equal to 0 meter per second. That is the rest, like I told you. Now cover a distance. We are given s is used to represent distance. S stands for distance, which is 80 meters. So a straight road in 10 seconds. Time is 10 seconds. Time is measured in seconds. We are looking for a, the unknown. So these are the things, these are the parameters we are given, and this is the parameter we are looking for. So we are going to select the formula now. Go with me now. First one, v equal to u plus at. Now the question is that let's check whether we can use this. If we can use this, there's no need, there's no point of going to the second equation again if this one is going to help us. Now the first one, now we are not looking for v, and v is here. It's a problem. Then we are not given distance. You can now say that a lot of things that we are not given is present here. Now so we look at the second equation, which is v square du square 2ax. Can we use this? Where there is acceleration that we are looking for, there is distance we are given, but there is no time. So that becomes another issue. We can no longer use that again. So the last one is x equal to ut plus half at square. Now this is going to be very, very useful. We are given the distance, which is 80 meters. We are given the initial velocity, which is 0, and likewise we will know the time, which is 10 seconds. Then we are looking for the acceleration. Good, we are given the time. So all that we are given is present here, and what you are looking for is also present. So equation, the third equation here will now be the suitable equation for us to use to solve this particular problem. So all you need to do now is to bring the parameter you are given and put it into this equation. Our s will now take 80, our u will be 0, our time will be 10 plus half times a times 10 raised to the power 2. That's what I are given. So this one remain 80, this one give us 0 plus half a so we have 80 equal to half a 100. So when you multiply that one, you have 80 equal to 100 a all over 2. Then you have to cross multiply here. When you do that, we have 2 times 80 equal to 100 a. So we have 160 equal to 100 a. So divide both sides by 100, 100. So we are going to have a equal to 1.6 meter per second square. That takes us to the end of that problem. The problem is okay, simple and direct, not ambiguous. It's a thing I feel you can do better if you follow the step. On this topic, the third illustration will be given, which will require you to convert from kilometer to meter per second. So illustration 3, a car moving with a speed of 144 km per hour slowed down with a uniform retardation of magnitude 10 meter per second square. How far, that's the distance, will it travel before it comes to rest? How far will it travel before it comes to rest? Actually, what we are looking for here is to get the distance. But this particular question comes with another dimension. And the dimension is the problem is the dimension, which is the kilometer per hour. The kilometer per hour cannot be used directly like that. You need to convert it to meter per second. That's the first challenge you are going to come across, and you ensure you tackle it before you solve the problem, because the unit must be dimensionally agreed with before you can use it. You cannot combine meter with centimeter because the two of them are not in the same. You can combine meter to meter but not centimeter with meter. Kilometer per hour cannot be combined with meter per second square here. So we have to turn this one to meter per second so that it can be in conformity with this one before we begin to solve the problem. So what we are given here now, that the speed of 4 km per hour is the velocity, but we have to convert it first. So to convert it, we have the v equal to 144 multiplied by 1000 multiplied by 60 times 60. So that will give us 40 meter per second. So that's how to get that one done first. So this is our velocity now. We must turn it to d so that we can use it with other parameters. So now we can now say we are given v, which is 40 meter per second. Then we are given the magnitude of the acceleration. They said retardation. Retardation means decelerating. So that will take minus. That is acceleration, but it's not increasing, it's reducing. So the negative tells us that it is coming down. That is the importance of the negative there. It does not affect the value. It's telling us more about the value that the car is retarding. So that's what. So how far will it travel before it comes to rest? That's our distance we are looking for. How far? So we know what we are given and we know what we are looking for. Then how do we get what we are looking for? Now we go by testing the equation v equal to u plus 80. Now, this is the first equation now. We know the velocity here. Now, we know the u here. U will be here, will be 0. Our u here is 0. Now, our u there is 0. So, we know the u there. The acceleration, we know it, but we don't know the time. So, go to the next equation. We have v square equal to u square plus 2ax. Now, we know the velocity, we know this, we know the acceleration, and we are looking for the distance. So, we make use of this to solve this particular problem. So, we now have the 40 square now equal to 0 square plus 2 times a minus 10 times x. So we have 40 square equal to this times this, we have a minus 20x. So if you multiply this, so divide both sides by 20. So this is our u. It's our u. Because the question says how far will it travel before it comes to rest. Since it's coming to rest, the final velocity must be 0. So v will be 0. V will be 0. It's coming to rest. When a car is starting, u is 0. And it's coming to rest, v will be 0. A car is starting, it is 0. When it's coming to rest, v is 0. So don't get confused with the 2. So since this car is coming to rest, it's expected that our v will be 0. So our u is this initial velocity, which is this. So applying this formula now, we have v now is 0 square equal to 40 square plus 2 dot minus 10 dot x. So we have 0.1600 minus 1020x. So bringing this one to this side, we have 20x equal to 160. So we have x to be equal to 1600 divided by 20. So this one will go, we'll have 80 meter. That is the distance for that question. So that's the illustration 3. We are going to give you the exercise to do, and as you go through the exercise, if you don't understand it, you can still play it back, and once you try it and you seem getting confused, you can reach us on the WhatsApp number displayed on the screen, and as you do that, we attend to you. You will find these problems interesting as we go through them. The first one says calculate the total distance covered by a train before coming to rest if its initial speed is 30 meters per second with a constant retardation of 0.1 meter per second square. The second one, a car starts from rest and moves with a uniform acceleration of 30 meters per second square for 20 seconds. Calculate the distance covered at the end of the motion. Problem 3, a car accelerates uniformly from rest at 40 meters per second square. How far will it travel in the 5th complete seconds? The fourth one, a car accelerates uniformly from rest at 5 meters per second square. Determine its speed after 10 seconds. An object of mass 2 kg moves with a uniform speed of 30 meters per second square for 5 seconds along a straight path. Determine the magnitude of its acceleration. Thank you. Go through them and you'll find them enjoyable as you play with them. I come to the end of the topic.